Hey guys, welcome to Phone Arena. It's Basil here, and today we'll be taking you through a video review of the HTC ChaCha, the latest Facebook handset from HTC, with a Forte QWERTY keypad, differentiating it from the competition. What you'll also have is a 5 megapixel camera on board, as well as an 800 MHz processor. Let's take a look at the screen to kick things off. At 2.54 inches, the landscape display comes in at HVGA resolution, making for a really nice sharp offering. You've also got a nice redefined Sense UI, and it really does take advantage of the high screen quality. Viewing angles are really nice indeed, as is responsiveness and brightness and contrast levels. It's not going to rival your Super AMOLEDs in terms of vibrance, but nevertheless, for a QWERTY handset, it definitely is among the best out there. The only slight reservations we might have would come in the form of the typography. The display text does appear a little bit small. Below the screen are 4 capacitive buttons, while directly below those are 2 physical keys, a call and an end button. Right below that is your Forte QWERTY keypad, which is extremely easy to use as soon as you pick the handset up. Each key is individualized and slightly rounded, so it's really easy to feel your way around the handset. The Facebook button sits on the bottom right hand side of the phone. To the left hand side is a volume rocker and a micro USB port. Flip the device round and you get a 5 megapixel camera, a loudspeaker and a single LED flash. Up top you have a power button and a 3.5mm headphone jack. The whole styling of the device is really nice and unified. The silver, white and blue is extremely Facebook-esque, and it does appear extremely young, so we'd expect this to be the target market. Overall, when you couple the decent screen with the really nice styling, we'd say design-wise it's a bit of a thumbs up. We're slightly concerned about an angle that appears in the center of the HTC ChaCha, but we've found out from HTC that this prevents a handset, when sitting face down, scratching keys or the display. So it all makes sense really when you think about it. The HTC ChaCha runs Sense 2.1 on top of Android Gingerbread. It's a redefined Sense layout, so fits well with the landscape form factor of the handset. As you can see, you've got similar Sense functionality, but with a few quirks. One of these comes in the form of the removed Quick Settings tab in the Notifications pull-down bar. This is slightly annoying as we really like this tab. Another quirk comes in the form of the app drawer. As you can see, when you venture off the first home screen, you actually lose the option to access your app drawer directly. This means that if you're on a second or third or fourth home screen, you either have to access your app drawer through your Quick Notifications tab or by pressing Home and taking you back to your first screen and therefore your app drawer. Once you get over these quirks, however, the general experience is pretty good. As far as the Facebook functionality goes, you can press your Facebook button once to update your status. If you long press your Facebook button, then you can update your Facebook places. When in an HTC Music application, you can actually press the Facebook button to send the music straight to your wall. Finally, when you're in the camera module, you can actually press the Facebook button and it will autofocus, take the picture and send it to your wall, allowing you to tag friends and add a description. This feature works very nicely, as any Android user knows tagging friends on an Android phone is a bit of a pain. Additional Facebook functionality comes in the form of the Facebook chat widget. The chat widget works really well because of the onboard QWERTY keyboard. The widget shows you your available contacts online which you can chat to, click through to the app and you can actually manage your chat history as well. So it enables you to look at past and present conversations and carry them forward with no hassle whatsoever. The keyboard, as we said, really is great for this, and we'd say the chat functionality really comes to its own on the ChaCha more so than the Salsa. The Facebook functionality overall, therefore, is pretty good. It's a bit gimmicky, and we'd say the most useful was probably the Facebook chat. Taking a look at the camera module, we've got a 5 megapixel autofocus module on board. As you can see, the interface is pretty standard HTC fare, and you've got all the adjustments you can make with the effects tab in the settings bar rather than on the left hand side. As far as the output goes, pictures look very good from the camera. As you can see, levels of detail, say in this purple car, come out very nicely indeed. Despite the fact this was taken pretty much on the fly, it still managed to pick up raindrops, and it was taken outdoors in relatively good lighting, but it is very accurate with its color representation and contrast levels. Sometimes in extremely high contrast scenarios, the camera does manage to overexpose the skies, for example, which can be expected from a mid-range camera phone. That said, overall results are impressive. As far as video goes, the video module is extremely similar to the camera module, and you have options to record video at a range of resolutions, with the maximum being 720 by 480. Video unfortunately doesn't look fantastic, with frame rates being a little bit jerky and general appearance not being up to par with the photography.
Phone Arena. This is a video sample of the HTC ChaCha.
It does generally look okay on the screen, and we'd probably say it will probably look okay on Facebook as well, as no one will have very high expectations. But try uploading it to a computer and actually expect to view a decent video, and you might be disappointed. As far as other video playback goes on the device, you can expect video to play back smoothly in MP4 format up to an 800 by 480 resolution. As far as connectivity goes, you've got a GPS on board as well as a dual band 3G and quad band GSM. Internet functionality is pretty good, thanks to the resolution of the display. As you can see, the web page is loading up, and as it loads up, we can actually start browsing through it. We don't have to wait for it all to fully load before we can get some smooth browsing done. We can also navigate with the 4-way D-pad on the bottom right hand side of the screen. The 800 MHz processor powers everything along. Pinch to zoom functionality works well, unlike on the main competitor, the Samsung Galaxy Pro. And we're just generally quite impressed with the experience. We had very low expectations given the small screen size, so we're glad that it actually lives up and supersedes them. The redefined Sense UI operates quite smoothly. With the 800 MHz processor on board, everything's powered along nicely, so it isn't the most overpowered handset out there, but nevertheless it's not one of the weaker ones either. It certainly beats most of the competition that come in this form factor. In turn, as far as the interface goes, it's a general thumbs up for this HTC ChaCha. It's a quirky, neat little device and isn't without its faults, with the display text appearing a little bit small and the occasional crash here and there with the redefined Sense finding its feet. That said, HTC informed us that this is an early release of the UI, which will be going on general sale, but at the same time will be updated shortly, so we can look forward to those updates correcting a lot of the problems that we encountered.
Fortunately, if you cover up the Facebook button, you still get a very good offering on the HTC ChaCha. The 4-tier QWERTY keyboard is really fantastic. 5-megapixel camera takes great photos. Screen resolution is just great. So even though the Facebook button does indeed add some functionality, overall it's a bit of a gimmick, but it doesn't detract from the fact that the handset's still pretty good. The new redefined Sense UI is slightly buggy on the landscape form factor and certainly not as functional as in portrait, but if you can get over that, then the HTC ChaCha offers one of the best keyboard and screen experiences for an Android handset of this form factor. Alternatively, you can look at the Samsung Galaxy Pro if you want to stick with Android and want a cheaper offering. Otherwise, look at the BlackBerry Curve if you like the BlackBerry OS, and on top of that, prefer the BlackBerry keyboard. Finally, if you prefer Symbian experience, then the Nokia E6 is just out with Symbian Anna, so you could take a look at that instead. Thanks for watching Phone Arena. This has been a video review of the HTC ChaCha. For more on this and other handsets, just check out www.phonearena.com.